Hello, welcome back to the Road to Episode 7, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens on December 16th, 17th and 18th, 2015, depending on where you are in the world. And in this one I'm going to be talking about the ABC exclusive, well it's not exclusive anymore because they posted it on the Star Wars YouTube account, but the ABC first look at The Force Awakens, which was a 60-second trailer slash TV spot. We're going to just call this the second TV spot, I guess. I've already filmed a couple videos in the series that are coming up after this one, where I talk about another TV spot that came out a couple of days ago, and it had like just an extended shot that we'd already seen. So I was just like, yeah, it's nothing. I'll just edit that out of the video because it's no need to even talk about it. But this one we can talk about because there's lots of new stuff again. And I'm sure that Disney slash Lucasfilm slash Bad Robot slash J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, I'm sure they put together like 3 minutes worth of just shots that people can use in like ABC and the Disney Channel, all that kind of stuff behind the scenes, whatever they want to do. And stuff that gives away little bits but doesn't go too far, and I'm still not like, oh, they've shown too much. A lot of people are up in arms about all this new footage that's coming out and that they're showing too much too soon and all this kind of thing. And yeah, if you want to be completely fresh, obviously it probably is a bit too much, but nothing has really been given away major at all. Just a few more new pieces of dialogue and that's it really. So this TV spot was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that these newer TV spots are built up of is the main trailer, basically. So there's a lot of that stuff in there, but there's quite a few new bits as well in this one, the ABC trailer. In fact, what did StarWars.com posted it? I'll just get it up now and give you like the official Star Wars word on what to call this, because it's hard to keep track when you got like you know, there's so many of TV spots and stuff. Now it just says The Force Awakens 60-second TV spot, the official TV spot. Okay, well, whatever. We'll just call it TV spot number 2, just to keep it, you know. I'll call something a TV spot if it's got loads of new stuff. Let's put it that way. I'm sure there's going to be tons of new other bits, and I feel silly even covering this, but there is quite a few new bits anyway. Right, so I've said there's quite a few new bits, quite a lot already. So let's do it. We'll do shot by shot breakdown, only covering the new stuff. First we have Finn inside the tent, looking at something, and then the next shot is him running out of the tent. Now we've already seen him and Rey and BB-8 inside the tent, looking out and seeing the TIE fighters coming in over the sunset, and so you can kind of piece together this whole sequence almost from all the other trailers. Eventually Rey comes out with BB-8 behind them. You can see that Finn's actually holding a hand, which I don't think we should read into very much, because I'm sure he just grabbed her to just be like, we got to get out of this tent. They look over ahead behind them, the camera pans up and a TIE fighter flies overhead, and then another one comes down and shoots the tent, which blows up as Finn and Rey and BB-8 are running away. They got out just in time, and boom! Big explosion, BB-8 goes flying. Rey hits the deck, Finn goes flying, and then we cut to another angle of them kind of being blown away by the explosion, 80s style, with like 8 different cuts of an explosion, but quite a cool little action scene there. And then we have a shot of presumably Finn in his TIE fighter trying to escape the, I guess, a Star Destroyer or something like that. He's decided to jump ship, and there's like a big cable connecting the TIE fighter to the station or whatever it is, the Star Destroyer, and it snaps. He breaks free, and I like seeing the TIE fighters in the background there, kind of like all lined up, ready to go out for battle and stuff. And I, for the record, I like the new TIE fighter design. I think it's pretty cool. It's a nice updated version of the original TIE fighters. Yeah, and I see no reason to kind of go radically different with it. I really enjoyed the design. And then he flies off. Another shot of him flying through the docking bay gate, whatever you want to call it, that big, you know, the blue lines that kind of, I guess, keep the atmosphere out and stuff, or in, whatever. And then we see the TIE fighter flying out. Then we have a shot that we've kind of seen before. It's the 2 shot of Finn and Rey on the Millennium Falcon, where I believe in the trailer Rey said, I don't know your name. He said Finn, and she says Rey. In this one it's a bit more extended, and he's like, Finn, what's yours? And she's like, I'm Rey. And so yeah, we just see a little more, an extension of that little exchange between the two, which is kind of cool. But I think that Finn, I mean, that's kind of like the most we've seen him talk on screen. I really like the accent. I think he's done a great job with the accent. Like, just, I don't know why, because it's the first time we've seen him say a full sentence. You know, before he just said Finn. Now he's like, Finn, what's yours? You know, in a kind of an American accent. And just looking at the way he speaks, the way he carries himself, I just totally believe that that's his voice. And he's got a very kind of, again, London British accent. And so I think he's done a fantastic job sounding different. And I think that that works within the Star Wars universe, because it is primarily, you have American voices in there, with the exception of a few people. And obviously a lot of the Imperial cast in the original Star Wars films were all British and stuff, whereas you had Han Solo and Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, all American accents, so I think that works. And then having Rey with a proper British accent is interesting as well. Then we have this shot, which is probably the best one I think of the trailer, or one of the best ones, is Han handing Rey a blaster, kind of like a mini one almost, not quite as massive as his own, I think. Well, maybe not. I mean, it looks smaller than his at least. It's almost like his backup pistol in a way. And he says to her, "You might need this." So that's kind of cool. And he hands it over. And she just looks down at it. But yeah, it's just cool to see Han Solo, man. I mean, it really feels like he is going to be like one of the proper main characters of the movie, and that's really exciting. And that was a cool moment to see. Obviously, the Falcon is in the background. Then we have another new shot of the big Jakku Millennium Falcon TIE Fighter chase sequence, which looks like it's going to be like the blow-away special effects scene of the whole film. I believe it was shot in IMAX as well, and so we see the Falcon just flying over the sand there with this Star Destroyer graveyard. Oh, awesome. Another shot of Rey, this time walking into somewhere, and I believe it might be Maz Kanata's castle that we saw them walking into earlier in a different shot. And we have BB-8 in the background, and she's looking, it's kind of like, what is this? And then we see this shot, which is a really interesting shot. I mean, we have 4 characters from the original trilogy there. I didn't even notice that Han Solo was in this shot until I took the screenshot for this video. So we have Han there on the left, we have Leia in the middle, kind of positioned very centrally, you know, as if that she is kind of in charge. And of course, I'll get to this in another video, but she is no longer Princess Leia, she is General Leia, so that's kind of cool. And I like the fact that she's still actively involved in that kind of thing with the Resistance and stuff, and it very much seems like she is almost the head of the group there. Definitely, just the way that the camera, the way that the scene is composed, where, you know, where the camera is, she just seems to be positioned in a central role within that kind of that group. And we have kind of the table there, very reminiscent of the you know, the control room and stuff like that. And then we have C-3PO on the right with the red arm that he's got, and just there on the right we have Admiral Akbar, which is really cool. And I believe the guy who played him in Return of the Jedi is coming back, which again, you know, you could put anyone in that suit really. It wasn't that great of a character, but like he just sits there really and says it's a trap. But it's very cool that the original actor came back. I think he did anyway. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. And then we have a very interesting shot of Finn bringing his lightsaber down against a stormtrooper of the First Order, and the stormtrooper has this kind of energy staff shield thingy that he blocks it with. So that's really cool, because, you know, one thing that definitely would be an interesting point to bring up would be if someone has a lightsaber and they're going up against, you know, stormtroopers, they just mow them down, you know. And so I like that the stormtroopers have a weapon that they have that will, you know, block a lightsaber. And it goes back to that kind of idea that maybe some stormtroopers have been trained with a lightsaber, and that may be why Finn, you know, has some sort of familiarity with it. Of course, he's using Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber there, which we'll get to at the end of the video. I've already been talking for far too long, but I'll include it anyway. And talk about the 2 main lightsabers in the film and some new information that's come out. Anyway, so that's kind of cool. The stormtroopers have some kind of energy staff thingy to shield themselves from a lightsaber. That's going to make battle and hand-to-hand combat in the films a bit more interesting. Then this is probably another one of the best shots, although Harrison Ford is definitely showing his age, but we see him kind of clambering out of a hole and just kind of whipping his blaster straight in front of him and firing out, and Chewie's kind of coming behind him. It seems like they've just kind of survived a wreckage of a building, perhaps on the forest planet, which I believe is Takodana, something like that. I'll have to look into that and make sure it's right, but that seems to be another big location in the film. And for what we've seen, I mean, you can really start piecing the whole film together, which probably isn't the best thing. You know, it's very clear that the movie, the first act takes place in Jakku. Falcon's there, somehow Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Finn and Rey and BB-8, they cross paths, they go to this forest planet, and stuff happens there, and then they go to the ice planet, and that's the last act of the film. It seems very much like a 3-act movie with 3 very distinct locations. So yeah, that's definitely been given away. Another shot of the X-wings flying over the water. This is a scene that's been used a lot in the trailers, but this is a kind of a new shot of an X-wing kind of pulling away, kind of a nice cool image. And then finally, I believe this is a a more extended look at the shot that we saw in the international trailer, I believe. There's been so many now, I'm losing track. With the X-wings flying down over the Starkiller base, maybe, perhaps it looks like. Very, again, reminiscent of the first Star Wars movie. And that's the end of the trailer. So there we go. Some cool stuff to see and to think about for sure. It was, you know, it was a surprise to me that they were throwing all this stuff out, but I guess they're really pushing the promotion of the film now, and it is what it is, you know, and they're not exactly going to be giving away the big stuff, which for me is Luke Skywalker, Supreme Leader Snoke, and of course, you know, I'm sure that a main character is going to bite the dust, is going to buy the farm. I'm sure that, yeah, there's some big stuff that's going to happen in the film, and we haven't had really any inkling of it. We haven't even seen Maz Kanata yet, which is another cool thing, because she seems to be a very central figure in this film, and I'll talk more about that in a much later video, because Entertainment Weekly has done this big feature on Star Wars, and there's loads of stuff, interviews with J.J. Abrams, Mark Hamill, you know, all the cast, and so I'll talk all about that in one big bumper video, talking about all the Entertainment Weekly coverage, all the new pictures that were released, so lots more to look forward to. And finally, before I finish this video out, I want to talk about the lightsabers of the movie, the ones that we know about at least anyway. There's been a recently opened thing called the Star Wars Launch Bay attraction in Disneyland and Disney World, and they've displayed some props from The Force Awakens, like Rey's outfit and certain things like that, and her blaster that she uses. So yeah, we have the hero lightsaber, as they call it. I'll try and get the picture up, but it's not very, the quality isn't very good. And it says Anakin Skywalker constructed this weapon at the start of the Clone Wars, and it was later passed to his son Luke. Luke lost it in a battle on Cloud City, but someone salvaged it from the city's industrial depths. Yes, so interesting. I still don't know, like, you look at the lightsaber there, it looks like Anakin's lightsaber, but in the trailer, when Finn holds up the lightsaber and ignites it in the forest, it looks like there's a coil above the hilt. Like, I don't know what that coil is. It doesn't look like Anakin's lightsaber, but it's the one that Finn has in the movie. We don't know how he gets it. There's been lots of theories and people who say they know exactly what happens in the film and how the lightsaber comes into the hands of the heroes and all sorts of stuff. I don't know. There's been so many theories that I don't have any good idea, which is good. But it definitely seems like the theory that, or the speculation that Luke/Anakin's lightsaber would play a big part of the film, as kind of like the search for the lightsaber, or the search for Luke, the owner of the lightsaber, that kind of a theme going throughout the film. And so we have, you know, again, the lightsaber from the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy kind of coming back into the fold, and it's almost like the kind of Excalibur, you know, the sacred, you know, the historic mythical blade, like in Lord of the Rings even, you know. So it's very interesting that this is playing a big part in the film. And then finally, Kylo Ren's lightsaber, which is on display, and we have a little bit more information about it. It says Kylo Ren's unusual lightsaber is an ancient design, although the one he carries is recently constructed. Now, people were reporting that they knew exactly what this was, and that it was an ancient relic that he had, and so that has been debunked and put to rest, put to bed. And it continues to say the crossguard blades, or quillins, sorry, not quillians, or quillins, are raw power vented from the primary central blade. So we have the main blade that comes up, the main part of the lightsaber, then the two crossguard bits are just venting just raw power. I like that wording, raw power, venting raw power. So there we go, very cool. I've never really, I mean, when I first saw it I was a bit iffy. It felt like they were trying to reinvent the wheel. But since then it just looks cool to me, and I have no real problem with it, to be honest. You know, it is what it is. I think it's a pretty cool lightsaber, and that's all there is to it, really. And I'm interested to see it more in action in the film, of course. And yeah, there we go. Nothing more to say. I've blabbered on for far too long, and yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more videos. There's plenty more to talk about, and yeah, it seems like we're going to be getting a lot more stuff than we kind of imagined we would. It was kind of a, you know, there was a bit, there was like a trailer and then like a 6-month dry spell, a trailer, another like 6-month dry spell, a trailer, and it's like, okay, and now next the movie, but then, oh no, here's another trailer. Here's a TV, here's another TV spot. In fact, there was another TV spot I haven't even mentioned yet, which has another shot of the Falcon flying towards the forest planet. So there's still, I feel like at this point it would be impossible for me to cover all of these things that keep coming out, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I have fun doing them. So yeah, we are 34 days away as a recording of this. Again, the next videos in this series will be ones I filmed yesterday, but it is what it is. Just the nature of it. Sometimes I want to get this one out there because it was new and recent and current. So there we go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I don't know 5 seconds.